They probably agree.
Of the United States of America. To the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Gentlemen, we have a roll call, please. All right, Village President Ditlow, here. Mr. Brown, here. Mr. March, here. Mr. Morgan, present. Ms. Quinn,
Here.
Ms. Worrell,
Here.
and Ms. Wheeler.
Present.
Do we have a motion to approve village board minutes dated 5/19/2025?
I'll make a motion to approve village board meeting minutes from
What was the date? 5/19.
5/19/2025.
I'll second. Okay, motion to approve meeting minutes from May 19th. Motion is made by Ms. Wheeler
Yes.
and seconded by Mr. March.
Yes.
Mr. Brown? Yes. Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
Ms. Quinn?
Yes.
And Ms. Worrell?
Yes.
Do we have a motion to approve meeting minutes, meeting of the whole dated 5/19/2025? You got 2 minutes. Yeah, we saw them. Minutes. Oh, seconds, yeah.
Something that you're correcting?
No, he's writing. We just needed we need a motion to approve the minutes of the.
The motion to approve the minutes for the meeting of the whole of 5/19/25.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll second.
Okay, motion to approve the 5/19 meeting minutes of the whole. Motion made by Ms. Worrell
Yes.
and seconded by Mr. March. Mr. March.
Yes.
Mr. Brower. Mr. Morgan.
Yes.
Ms. Quinn
Yes.
and Ms. Wheeler.
Yes.
Okay, do we have any public comments today?
But I'll wait till you get to that number.
We're here right now. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, all right, well, I just want to know about the Giffen Gate, what that is. And is it gonna be located on Butler?
Well, when we get down to,
Yeah, well, that's why I wasn't.
Chairman Morgan, I thought it was something else. When we
I
get down
thought
to
we'll
Chairman
get,
Morgan,
wait till we get to that.
we'll explain that, okay?
Okay,
Thank you.
that's fine.
Would you, for the record, would you state your name so he can write down the minutes?
It's Nancy Lee Sahachuk.
Okay. Do we have a motion for bills for payment and payroll?
Yes, I move to approve bills for payment dated May 29th, 2025 from the corporate general fund in the amount of $14,517.54. Also dated May 29th from the motor fuel tax, $744.44. Also dated May 29th from the Fest Fund, $67.12. Also dated May 29th from the TIF account, $50. I also move to approve payroll ending May 24th, 2025 in the amount of $20,966.14.
I'll second.
Anybody have any questions about any of that? Nope. Okay.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the bills for payment as follows, dated May 29th. General fund in the amount of $14,517.54. Motor fuel tax, $744.44. Best fund, $67.12, and TIF account, $50 even. Payroll ending May 24th in the amount of $20,966.14. Motion is made by Mr. Morgan
Yes.
and seconded by Ms. Weedle.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Mr. March.
Yes.
Ms. Quinn.
Yes.
Ms. Whirl.
Yes.
Department reports. Clerk Scott Dillman.
I don't have anything.
Thank you, sir. Attorney report, Mike Sanchi. I've spoken to Mike Sanchi this past week concerning a couple issues that we're having in the village. We're working through them right now. When they're completed, I'll be at liberty to explain to the village board what they are. Right now, they're in a process of being settled, so I have been speaking to him. And it's concerning some property issues that we're looking at, and once through that, I'll be able to bring that information to the village board. Engineers report, Neil Piggish. Mr. Morgan and myself just met with Neil here a few days ago. One is concerning the park in the back. We will be starting this summer. We had some questions about the location of the train. The train will stay where it is located right now in the back. The park improvements will be made around that. The original park sign will stay in its location. They will be adding a new park sign, but the new one or the old one will stay in its original location. We're going to be moving the fence on the north face. We'll gain 30 feet of property that we own. We'll be moving the fence on the east side, the railroad track side. We'll be gaining 21 feet of property that we own, and the brush will be cleared out. There are a couple trees, larger trees that are going to have to be removed because of the configuration of playground equipment. But Mr. Morgan went to represent the Grant Park Foundation, and we came to agreement with Neil on what we could live with and what changes we would want to make. The downtown streetscape beautification plan will be starting shortly. The gas line on Taylor Street has to be lowered to configure with the new plans of the beautification project. Once that is completed, it will take approximately 1 year to complete the beautification project. When we were speaking with Neil, he asked if we would be interested. There was a grant that we had to decide on almost then and there because it was only a few days away that wouldn't be offered anymore about for engineering. We're looking at phase 2 of the beautification plan. So the engineering will be paid for completely through a grant. So once we get more information on that, we will bring it to the village board. Ordinances and Insurance Committee Chairperson Susie Weedle.
Yes, I would like to make a motion to approve ordinance number O-6-25-1 first reading. An ordinance making appropriations for corporate purposes for the fiscal year beginning May 1st, 2025 and ending April 30th, 2026 for the Village of Grant Park, Illinois. Gary, would you like to?
Sure.
Speak on?
And again, this is just the first reading, and we don't really have to vote on it. It is just the first reading. There will be a notice in the journal or whatever it's called, June 4th, that there will be a hearing on the 19th at 6 o'clock to go over this with the public. And then we will have the second reading during that following board meeting. And at that point, I will go to hopefully approve it. If there are any questions or if anybody finds any errors in this, we can correct errors between now and board meeting. So if you find something, and of course, if you have any questions about any of this, glad to talk about it publicly or privately, or during the hearing or before the hearing.
Anybody have any other questions? Are we good? Streets and Alley Committee Chairperson Morgan Worrell.
Yes, I invited there. First, tree blockage on the streets. Trees at 207 Maple were trimmed from limiting the stop sign view. You see a tree or anything blocking a sign or sidewalk, call the village, and Streets and Alleys will be able to remove that or get them trimmed up. Next, the park thermostat was out at the fridge, in the fridge. Cousins was here to fix that. No rentals were affected. They're gonna start dragging alleys again as long as it doesn't start raining again, so that's good. Flags for Memorial Day, flags were put up for the holiday and a lot fell down, there's some broken brackets. If you see any damaged flags or any on the ground, please put them in the drop at the police station. Or just throw them away. Maintenance department hours are 7 to 3:30. Those are the hours to contact JD and Steve. If you have any questions or complaints or anything outside of those hours, please feel free to send me an email or them. But that is their private and family time after 7 to 3:30.
There's one thing I would like to add to that. As summer approaches, we always face the problem with weeds on sidewalks in front of businesses. It's the responsibility of the business to clean that up, not the maintenance department. We take care of our property, so if you see that, mention it, please, to one of us. We can reach out to the business owner or whoever's responsible for that. I know the library, we have a gentleman here in the front row that actually cleans the curbs and the weeds. I don't want to mention any name, but the guy in the green shirt right there.
You're doing a great job.
So we are responsible for the properties that the village owns, but the owners of the other properties are responsible for their own. Is that all you have, Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Finance Committee Chairman, Mr. Gary Morgan.
Yes, I'd like to bring you up to date, and then we'll talk about what the motion might be about the utility. Again, the project is at 109 West Taylor. That's the building just west of the library building. And Griffin Gate Farms bought that building in 2023. And basically, they've been working on it to make it look more presentable. They also did a temporary fix of the roof because it was leaking real badly. In fact, one of the apartments on the second floor was pretty much flooded and was full of garbage. We've been working on the TIF with them since last November. There have been a lot of things that they've had to put together. And if we could move in a couple of pages to where it says the financial gap form, basically you can see that they've already spent a chunk of money on making that presentable. They changed all the windows. All the windows are nice form windows. They're not leaking. They changed a couple of doors. Like I said, they fixed some of the temporary problems with the structure. What they're asking us for is TIF assistance with the roof, with the external appearance of the building. They want to do tuck pointing, cleaning, painting, and they also have some things that they're asking that the TIF help them with inside the building. In fact, I've got some pictures. Yeah, that's out. These are two sets of pictures that have the
We
same
can't really hear you, Gary. We can't hear
Barely
you at
can
all.
hear you.
She still has a question. I don't think we can hear what you
I
said.
don't know what you said about the.
Which property you're talking about?
109 West Taylor. It's the building just
Oh,
west of
downtown.
the library, downtown.
Yeah, that's the library.
Planning to make it into a laundry.
I noticed
Well, we
that.
heard that it was gonna be behind the.
That's the one on the west of that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
It's
All right.
one of the old guys. Okay.
Okay, again, what
That's what I'm saying.
the TIF is all about is improving property to increase the tax value, the equalized assessed valuation, or EAV of the property. Most of the TIF that we've done to date over the last 14 years or so haven't done this. They've helped the properties not to lose value, but this one is actually going to improve the value. Before TIF started in 2006, the equalized assessed valuation of this property was $34,000. It has dropped to $26,000 now. All they're being charged taxes on is $26,000. If you look at the page in your packet, it has a list of parcels from downtown. This is pretty much every building in the downtown area. And this is listed as number 4, 109 West Taylor. And you can see the EAV is 26,500. The only buildings that are less than that are number 8, which is the Country Finance Building with 25,000. And number 15 which is the small building on South Main, just south of Sharper Homes. It's actually a real small building. And Sharper Homes kind of fixed it up and basically, I think it's mostly vacant now, 22-7. And then the other building, which is less, is the one just south of the post office, 22,456. So what we're looking at is out of all the buildings in downtown, there's only 3 that have an equalized assessed valuation less. If we put in this TIF part and they continue to do the other amount, they're going to do a phase 3 where they put even more money into the property. We feel, and TIF administrators looked at this. She submitted her report last Friday. Basically, she's saying, yes, the equalized assessed valuation is going to go up at least to what it was in 2006. And we think it's going to go higher than that. Because if you look across the alley from this building to the west, that building just across the alley is valued, and that's number 6 at 40, or no, I'm sorry, it's number 3. That's 47,631. It is a bigger building, but it's just as much a mess. It's had no water for like 2 or 3 years. We had to condemn the upstairs to get rid of some tenants that, I don't know how they were living up there because there's no water. And downstairs has been a total mess. I mean, the Historical Society was in there for a time, but basically had no facilities. They had some nice rooms and they moved next door. So in that building that they're in now, as you can see, that's number 2, that's 28,000. So even the building that the Historical Society is in now has an EAV higher than this building.
That's terrible.
Okay, so my point is, they're asking us to help them with providing things in the amount of $320,430. The TIF administrator says you need to keep in mind that the money you're going to get back in taxes isn't going to equal that. We're going to be giving them more money than we're ever going to get back in taxes. But every TIF agreement that we've had in the last 12 or 13 years, as I said earlier, we've given them money, we're not going to get it back in taxes. So our main intent is to make our buildings look good, like with Wicks, with Curtis, with Sharper Homes, with that medical building on the corner, I can't remember what they're.
Metabolic.
Yes, we've helped them look better to Country Finance. We made those buildings look good downtown and it's improved, we think, all of Grand Park. Now, what I'm asking you for is a sense, do you feel $320,430 is okay? And the other side of that is we have over $1 million in TIF. We could spend all this $320 this year. We'd make that back in the tax that is taken away from all the other taxing units and put into TIF. So we have the money. We would be able to continue to do all the other projects like downtown, even in Hogarth Park, that's going to use some of the TIF money. We'll still have that TIF money. We're not taking it away from any of our other projects. But I just need to get a feeling from you that $320,430 is okay with you.
I would like to see a report from a structural engineer on the building to make sure it's worth putting that much into it. Is my opinion.
Okay.
I'd like to introduce, this is Chris Carson, our building inspector, whoever may not be familiar with him. I asked him to come to the meeting. He's gonna come once a quarter just to keep us in tune on what's going on in the village, or if anybody has any building related questions, Chris could answer. So go ahead, Chris. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. I mean, that's my opinion, as, a building inspector and a builder is, I want maybe an opinion to make sure it's worth putting that much into it, make sure the, so to say, the bones are good, So I mean, from the pictures, it doesn't look very, very, very good upstairs as far as structural, in my opinion.
Those are downstairs pictures.
Those are downstairs pictures, well, even worse.
That's a downstairs, yeah.
So now you got another floor above it that you're supporting. Just my opinion,
Yes.
We don't normally get stuff about all this information for the TIFs. You usually kind of go over it and tell us what was approved and what wasn't. Is the reason we received all this information because it's such a large amount? You want to make go over it?
Generally, we give you the whole packet.
Because my packets are lacking, I don't know.
Okay,
That's our-
but, okay, I'm sorry, what is your question again?
Like, why did we get the whole, I've never seen a rundown complete like this for a TIF.
Okay,
Is it just because it's so much to make sure we know what we're agreeing to?
I guess I thought we were always giving you packets with all the details. I mean, if you think back, the last tip we did, we even had all the pictures and everything, and pictures of the roof and basically all the details of what he was doing. Of course, that was only for $5,000.
Right, that's what,
Country
yeah,
club.
This one is very detailed, I will agree with.
because they choose just like a picture.
Well,
like a-
Right, you know, with banking
I
information
think
and everything.
from what their position was, is they're doing a lot.
Right,
And we really wanted to see all the things, so we've actually asked them for probably more flesh on the.
okay, so it just is more because of that,
Yeah.
okay.
There's more to it, and what the TIF administrator had asked at some point, well, what did they do upstairs? So
Right.
we went back and got another amount for how much they fixed the upstairs. And that's in here someplace.
So a structural engineer, would that be something that we would then ask them to do?
We could ask that as an additional, right now, the TIF administrator hasn't asked that, but our building inspector wants that information.
That's a great idea.
Okay, it's safeguard.
Yeah.
Okay,
Graham, you have a question?
I have a question, it's kind of a general question about TIF as a curiosity. Is there a time limit on funds that are in the TIF fund, the village TIF fund, and the TIF administrators are largely the ones who approve the final disbursement? But is there a time limit if you don't use up TIF money? Does it disappear or?
in order for them to use the TIF money, they actually have to do the structural changes or fix the roof or whatever it is, prove to us that it was done and that they paid for it. And then we give them money to help them with their finance.
Is it important for the business to apply first before
They have-
any work begins?
They have to apply before anything is done.
The time sensitivity has more to do with the scheduling of application,
Yeah.
work being done, and then reporting of money spent. I
Yeah,
see.
they cannot do anything of the 320,000 until we say it's okay and enter into a contract with them. So they wanted to start in June, but it looks like we're gonna put them off till at least July.
I gotta run it.
Does anybody else have any questions concerning this?
I have a question.
Mr. Brown?
Estimated start date now may be July, but estimated project completion date is listed as December, which now may be January. So that's like 6 months to do all this work. Do you think that's feasible?
I don't have the,
Oh, you don't have a pack?
I don't have a packet to,
It's just pictures.
that's just the pictures, but I mean, this is. This isn't like a detailed report, it's just pictures.
Basically, as far as what we're looking for them to complete would be the roof repairs, which are completely redoing the roof. They would also be doing. Okay, there's one company that's washing the building, grinding and tuck pointing, replacing broken bricks, rebuilding the east wall, removing plaster from walls, replacing with new plaster. That would have to be done on the outside of the building before the other company comes in, power washes it again, seals it, primes and paints it. Those things could also be happening at the same time. Another company is tearing off and removing the roof, replacing any damaged plywood, replacing insulation and installing a new roof. Those things could go on kind of simultaneously, except the two doing on the walls. The other thing would be inside. They're gonna pour a concrete floor, install a bathroom on the first floor. They had to take out the furnace and the water heater from the first floor because they were 100 years old and weren't working. And they have to install electrical wiring and fixtures. So all that probably could be done in 6 to 8 months if those companies are on board with it. And he got 2 estimates for everything. So he took the lesser one.
Okay. Second question is, if we have a deadline or estimated completion date established here, what happens if they go over it or it takes a
Doesn't
year?
matter.
Doesn't matter.
No.
We have no,
The other, okay, the first thing that we have to decide is how much are we gonna pay them?
Right.
or give to them, and then over how many years? Because usually we don't pay this in one amount. We usually say 3 years. So they're gonna be done with the project, like the first year, we give them the first year amount, and then the next fiscal year, we give them the second amount. Third fiscal year, we give them the third amount. But they could have gone on and done phase 3 after we finish the things that we have in the tip.
So there's no completion date that's
Not
required
no.
for any of this work.
No, we don't pay them until it's done and paid for.
Okay.
So that's the key. They can't start until we've approved it, entered into a contract. We don't pay them until it's done and paid for. And if they don't do it all, then we don't pay them. Or if it comes in a lesser amount, then we pay them less. One of the things that Bennett Curtis, when they came in, it cost them $5,000 less, so we didn't pay them that. Wicks, I think they had the same thing. They came in, one of their amounts was maybe $3,000 left, so we didn't pay it. Well, the Historical Society, we were gonna pay them like 25. I think we ended up paying them like 21.
Right, Point School came in less.
So that's the other part of it, which is why we say it's gotta be done, it's gotta be paid for before we give you $1.
Does anybody else have any other questions? Because now would be the time to ask.
Yeah, because again, what we'll do, and I have to talk to the administrator and the TIF attorney, and say, we're gonna ask for, make sure the building structure is, can withstand this. I mean, I don't know how much weight, but the roof probably won't gain weight, but some of the things going to the wall.
Correct, but if the roof has been leaking for how many years, water plays hell on bricks,
It does.
freezes, it pops them, so I mean, is there underlying problems, they put 300,000 into it and we reimburse them for it and
Yeah.
4 years later, the building falls down.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good. Of course, that is one of the things that they're doing, is they are replacing bricks that are damaged. So that is one of the things that they have to do. They know that some of the bricks are not intact. In fact, you walk around the building and so that brick is cracked, this one's crumbling a little bit. So yeah, they've got to fix that. So I mean, I think their intent is good, but I also think we need to do this as an extra.
Yeah. I'm not trying to nitpick them, it's just, want to make sure T's are crossed and I's are dotted.
Right. I mean, in addition to it looking good, we want them also to have a business in there where they're generating income. And some of that's taxable. So we will be getting some sales tax, some gambling tax if they do open up a gambling thing. So that's mostly good. Okay, so yes,
We already approved the liquor license for them.
we approved that there be one for them. But once they're established, they have to actually apply for the license, but that we've already set up that they can do that.
In order to have gambling, they have to have liquor. That's just.
And that's why they're doing the liquor.
Any other questions? Okay, from anyone?
Thanks. I will go back to them and then we'll come back.
Chris, maybe after the meeting, you can give Mr. Morgan some recommendations, maybe on what you would consider would be a structural inspection on the building, and we'll have something to go
Yeah,
with.
that'd be good. Okay.
Thanks for explaining.
Well, sure.
No questions from anyone? Community Outreach Committee Chairman, Steve Brower.
Yep, to bring you up to date, we had the 5K pancake run, walk, or ride. May 26th, a beautiful, cool day. 38 people ran, walked, or rode a bike. 10 people came just for the breakfast afterwards. Brought in approximately $480. We spent $166 and another 90 was donated. So it was well worth the effort. The next run, walk, or ride will be June 29th at 8 o'clock start time over on the lake. Breakfast will begin at 9 o'clock.
Was that the 29th of June?
29th of June. The festival committee, we have the next Fall into Fun Fest meeting will be 6 o'clock at the community center on June 4th. All activities are moving along without any major setbacks so far. The Grant Park Village-wide garage sale will be Saturday, June 20 and 21st, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Register for a listing at the village by calling the Village Hall, 815-465-6531 before June 20th at 9 a.m. Maps will be provided for the Saturday registered locations. Just to let everybody know, Wick's Bike Shop is starting their first summer family bike ride on Wednesday, June 4th at 7 o'clock. And accolades to our own Grant Park George Elwich of Grant Park, a seventh grader who was the youngest speaker ever to give a speech at Memorial Day ceremony in Kankakee. I think there were a couple of us here. And you were there?
Yes, there was.
I think it was well received, and congratulations to the 2025 Grant Park High School graduating seniors. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Next, Buildings and Ground Committee Chairperson Julie Quinn.
The only thing I have is a question. I rode around to all of the parks, and the only one that currently does not have a porta potty is Hilgert Park, the one in the back. Are there plans to put one there when we redo that park?
I think they're actually, that is in the plan. They're gonna be portable, not a permanent structure, but.
Yeah,
they
just like a
will-
regular park.
Yeah. I don't want to say the park is not used, but it's underused compared to our other parks. We have, as you know, we have Health Park and there's a bathroom. We have a handicap bathroom back here. That park does have some use, but not like the others, but it maybe was an overlook why we don't have a bathroom there, but we will make sure that is taken care of.
I just figured, once we start the.
We will,
Rejuvenation, we should probably come back.
Yeah, that will start this year. No matter what time of year it is, it doesn't really hurt anything, because if that road is partially closed, they can still get to the sewer plant,
Mhm.
and, operations out there can continue on, so.
Okay,
You all
that's all.
set?
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you,
all I
ma'am.
got.
Law Enforcement Committee Chairman Dennis Martz.
Well, one thing, there's a couple things. But the one thing is to I'd like to make it available for golf carts from the Casey's or that old bank to the dollar store. So we'd have to take those pills out.
Dollars out.
I also think that there should be some sign put up at either end that pedestrians have the right of way, so that, there's no they know when they get on the right of way.
Okay.
And then the other thing is, we brought up last month about the pay increase for the officers to $26.
Mhm.
And then asked Chief Fry, and he can talk about this camera thing.
I think everybody maybe got a copy of it in their packet, but I want to purchase that camera that we've been testing, the Ricotta camera. It's currently on our electronic sign. I think the price is. Got that handy, Ben?
Yes, I do. Total price is $2,903.75.
Yes, so, I thought it was up for motion today, but apparently it's not, so maybe we can do that at the next meeting. Does it have to be, say, motion on there or not?
It
Just
says,
as discussed.
this says discuss, but if we're gonna vote on it, then we have to have that written and make a motion. When do you have to have a yes or no?
That's all, I already talked to them, they're wood time,
Okay.
so. And then,
Does anybody now wanna, discuss this, or possibly take a straw vote on it, so chief kinda knows where he's at with this?
Are you just gonna do one?
one now, yeah.
So I guess, we'll start with Ms. Worrell.
Oh, yes, I think it's a great idea.
Okay, Ms. Quinn?
Oh, I agree, yeah.
Agree. Purchase.
Okay,
Yes.
Yep.
So I guess if you speak to the It just was an oversight. I really didn't read the agenda. It should be written on there if we're gonna vote, but let them know that we'll have it on the next.
Okay, bill me and I'll get 30 days anyway, so
Okay.
we'll be fine.
Now, what about the storage for the camera or whatever?
It's stored in the cloud,
Yes.
so we say roughly about $500 a year for that. So after this, that'll be our only cost because we will own the equipment. So, and like I say, we're gonna move it down to where it's down at the end of right on the end of Hamilton Drive.
So the one you have right now, is that the one you're gonna move
Yes,
down?
yeah, you're just gonna move it down there.
So we're gonna have one, or we're gonna have
We're gonna have one.
one for now?
One for now. I would say, down the road, if this works out well, I'd like to get one on the other end of town. I'd like to get one, maybe once the streetscape is done, maybe one on a pole there. All it needs is power. It's cellular, so we don't need, it's be very advantageous. Certain communities around us have, I think Kankakee has 60 or 80 of them. Mantino has a lot. Every town, Momence has some. I think it's starting to get that direction. And I think I showed a lot of people the capabilities of it. I can program in what color car I want to see. It'll tell me every light green car that passed. And I can search by day. I can search by somebody wearing a red shirt in the car. It's got a lot of capabilities. I think down the road, as technology advances, I think it'll be a great thing for us to have.
Is there a question? Could I see someone's hand? Oh, ma'am?
We do have to vote on
We
the,
gotta vote on
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Was there a question on the cameras? Okay. I thought I'd seen a hand go up. I'm sorry.
He answered it in
Okay.
his explanation.
Okay. I didn't know if someone was stretching. Yes, so we have to, if you want to bring it up, Dennis, about the pay increase.
We'd like to vote on, police officers raised up to $26. I think it's about 90 cents.
So are you making the motion?
Yes, I make a motion that we vote on that.
And it's the date, because we've already said it's okay to do it, right?
Yeah.
Date.
Yeah,
Start
date.
June
The
1st.
last time we discussed this, we neglected to say when it was going to start.
Oh,
We agreed to the increase, but we didn't agree to the start date.
well, I about June 1st.
So, we're increasing the part-time officers' pay to $26 an hour beginning June 1st. So we have a motion.
Yes, we made a motion. We need a second.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion to increase the part-time police officers' pay to $26 an hour beginning June 1st, 2025. Motion is made by Mr. Marks. Yes. And seconded by Ms. Rito.
Yes.
Mr. Brower.
Yes.
Mr. Morgan.
Yes.
Ms. Quinn.
Yes.
Ms. Worrell.
Yes.
I just have a couple things.
Yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
They're supposed to, Neil, or not Neil, the attorneys contact me. They're gonna have the appraiser out in the next week or so with the old Pepin property.
Okay.
So the guys did a great job clearing all the debris out of the driveway because you couldn't even walk down there. But so we hopefully should get that done within the next couple weeks.
That'd be great.
And, we're kind of getting the Hummer back running. I just bought batteries for it and gonna get that back running. So
What are we gonna do with that?
we use it for the parades, things like that. And if we ever get a terrible snowstorm, it's a
Bombs
beast.
are like,
And, I discussed too with like Steve and JD, when we get a storm that came through like that, if there's a tree down in the middle of the road, instead of calling those guys out to do it, we put a tow strap in that thing could pull down our house. So we could just drag the tree off to the side of the road and we don't have to call anybody out to do it. So,
Getting back to the multi-use path, we're gonna take those bollards out. There's two of them, one on the east and one right there. I'd like to, I guess, make a note right now to make sure that we're willing to work with the community as long as this doesn't get abused, where someone says, well, I came this far, I'm gonna go the rest of the way. Because if that happens, those will go back in and there won't be any vehicles on the path. I agree what Dennis said, that pedestrians have the right of way, whether you're on a bike, walking. If you're gonna come there, we're trying to make it convenient for the people in the village to take their golf carts to our business there. We're lucky to have it. but we also have to, respect everybody's rights to use that path. So,
As we discussed last time with some of these UTVs and things like that, if somebody drives where they're not supposed to, I will revoke their permit, and at least for a year, maybe for longer. Then they won't be able to use it at all. I did run into a guy the other day, driving down Route 1 on a UTV, he had a license plate from Arizona, totally valid, nothing I can do about it. So as we discussed with the other states, several states issue on-road and off-road permits for UTVs. You do not need to be a resident of those states to apply for them. You can apply and you can have a UTV registered in Utah that comes back to a Grant Park address. If those things occur, I don't think there's gonna be many of them. There's nothing we can do about it.
Dennis, are you all set? Any questions?
Does that mean a UTV could drive on that path?
No, golf carts.
Well, anything with a golf cart permit, a UTV would be in that category.
Yeah, but if he's licensed as a vehicle.
Right, different. If he's licensed as a vehicle, he can drive on the road.
And I only know of a few of them in the community. Most of the people have golf carts. There's only a few that have UTVs.
I think we have,
They're a little too big for that.
yeah, I think we have about 31 registered right now. Probably 9 or 10 are UTVs, the rest are. And a lot of UTVs are actually people who don't live in town, who drive to town, maybe to go to tracks or to go to eat or whatever. So they come in and register them so that they can drive in town when they come in.
Well, like we just said, be respectful.
Common sense.
Yes. We're opening this path. It was set up for no motorized vehicles of any kind. We thought it would be a convenience, but if it's abused, then that convenience would be taken away. So, any other questions concerning that now?
I just don't feel like it's a good idea at all to take those down. We fought tooth and nail to get no golf carts on it to the point where it was like 3 meetings long. And now we're like, well, if somebody messes up, they're going back up. It's like, I don't know, putting a kid in the corner and they do the same thing and just kind of get away with, I don't know. I just think it should, there's people that walk on that all the time. And I really don't think certain people just aren't gonna play by the rules and pull over. So how many times are we gonna go back and forth? Oh, we'll give them another shot. Oh, we'll take it away. I just think it should be for a walking path.
And you're a golf cart person.
Yeah, and I'm a golf cart person, but I know how to go around and you know what I mean? I know, yeah, it's not hard.
Will
I don't know.
our new camera be able to,
It won't go that far down the road. It's at Hamilton. Won't be that far down that road.
can we get a camera?
You can, the problem is there's no power out. We would have to go to a pole down there with a power outlet. And all it would do is do the path. It would kind of defeat the purpose of the multi-use of the camera just for that singular purpose.
Well, not necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely see both sides of this. I think, but there are people that are not really, a lot of our older people have golf carts. I always told people, park in the dispensary and walk over there.
We'll make this fair. We'll table this discussion to the next meeting. I'll put it on the agenda to discuss and vote. And then everybody will have a say on it instead of trying to decide right now what to do.
Okay, that's good.
This way we can talk about it at the next meeting. We'll take a vote on it and then we'll see what the vote comes out. Thank you.
So at this time, nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed. The village will stay in. I'll let the maintenance department, you can let Steve know to leave them in. We're gonna,
They haven't made any changes until
We'll,
some actions take.
we'll leave them in, until we have the next meeting. We'll discuss it and vote on it then. At this time, I want to introduce Chris Carson, our building inspector. I asked him to come once a quarter, so 4 times a year. He's going to come and explain about, we just increased our permit fees. If you could shed some light on that, and then building in the village, or let people know what's going on and stuff.
Here lately, there hasn't been too many permits issued, but it's early, it's only June. We did increase inspection fees to $50 for me and John Coletti, the plumbing inspector, and the electrical inspector is up to $60 per inspection, being that he is from the other side of Bourbonnais. you know, to make it kind of worth his while to come here to do inspections. We did introduce a license program, so contractors have to get licensed, show proof of insurance, workman's comp, liability, all that good stuff. So, you know, that's the first time that Grant Park's ever had that. A few hiccups, but it seems to be going okay so far.
If you see construction going on and you don't see a permit, reach out, because if we don't enforce it, that's lost revenue for the village.
Correct.
Sometimes people aren't aware that a permit is needed. Chris has other jobs going on, so he's not in the office, but if you leave a message, he will look into it. If you're not sure if a permit is needed, he can answer your questions. So anybody have anything? Yes, sir.
Did you ever do, or has it ever been considered that the contractor is partially liable for not having a permit posted before they do work?
Correct.
That they could be fined as well?
Absolutely.
Okay,
And we have signed multiple.
okay.
You know, every once in a while you do see construction in town going on and someone thinks, well, I'm just doing this. I think I needed a permit, but it's money out of our pockets. So we're trying to stay on top of it.
And more importantly, it's not being inspected.
And it's not being inspected. Very good point there.
So
So
we have, Chris and I have a great rapport. We text each other all the time. Hey, you got a permit on this house? Yeah, they got one. Okay, fine. And if there's a violation, we can issue the violation, put it in adjudication court. Chris just shows up and says, yep, you didn't. Or if there's a deficiency. We've had some issues with some where we were kind of like, we don't know about this and don't do anything until Chris comes and looks at it. So
okay.
it's working out real well, I think.
Very good point. Any other questions for our building inspector? All right,
New dispensary, is that?
It's kind of at a,
Forward or?
it's at a standstill because one of the investors
Right.
passed.
I talked to Rich last week. He anticipates 30 to 60 days. Because they had to change all the paperwork with the state of Illinois because one of the investors had passed away.
and I see the permits are down from the window. They're up on there was 3 of them on the door. They're not on the door
Yeah, I
anymore.
think they've done a lot of work inside. I haven't been inside. in probably a
Yeah, they
couple
should
weeks.
be,
Pretty close.
their permits probably don't expire until,
They're a year, right?
yeah, they're a year,
They
so.
may be getting close to open. That's why
They
went
were-
out.
yeah.
The dumpster went out of there.
Yeah.
They were pretty close before everything hit the fan, so.
I think they're getting, like you said, he told me he thought 60 to that, or 30 to 60 days, so.
Any other questions for Chris?
Oh, no, but thinking of that, when they are ready to open, I'm sure we'll have a ribbon ceremony.
There's supposed to be a soft opening prior to the actually opening up to public. But when Mr. Hub's brother passed away, that kind of put a stop on everything. I did talk to Rich, as our police chief did, and they are moving forward. They said they had too much invested into the building with the actual license and everything they've done in there. So we will open, we just don't have an exact time frame. So. Madam, in the front row, you had a question. I didn't forget you. Yes, you had a question concerning something.
Well, I just had the question about
Griffin Gate.
the Griffin.
Oh, they let
But if it's-
off of what it said in.
If it's not behind me, then I'm okay. But I did hear
Yes,
that the guy that owns that land wants to put up 64 condos
where's this at?
You have a Hill
on
report.
Butler. Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
live at
60
10
64
That was a
condos.
large number.
yeah.
It must be a high rise.
I don't know, they couldn't put
room to spread them out.
They can't put that many in.
Gosh, no.
Well, you know what, if
That
that
owns
would have
what
happened,
property, Nancy?
Huh?
That owns what property?
That owns the properties like behind us,
Between Hill Report and
On
Butler.
Oh,
That's on Butler.
across from where they built the renew houses.
Yeah,
and the park,
And as well, there's
yeah, right there.
the park.
64?
I think before that.
I would, and you know what?
I can see they could put, say 4 2-unit.
Sure.
I would think if they did 6 or 4, but not 64 combined,
Yeah.
because it wouldn't happen. What I can tell you right now about that property, it is being looked at through our village attorney. And it's in the process of being rezoned. And that's all I can discuss about that right now. As far.
We also heard that they wanted to put up the storage unit. And that would.
If any of this would happen, I would know about it, and it's
Okay.
not happening. I can tell you that much. What I can tell you is, no, well, rumors are rumors, but all I can tell you is, the attorney is looking at this. Right now, they looked about rezoning that property, and it's in the planning stage, and that's really,
Okay,
there's no, high rise, there's no bridge going to Indiana from there or nothing, so whenever you hear.
I
it
mean,
could
I
be-
can't see it, but people that live facing that way.
Well, I hope that answered your question.
Yes, it
This,
does.
you know,
Thank you.
no, that's okay. That's why we're here. I was kind of surprised. It might be a 6 or a 4, but not a 64. So-
Originally, that was supposed to be more townhouses on that.
Like
street.
yours.
Yeah.
Yes.
But as we all know, that builder was a.
Well, prior to the last 4 houses actually built, one on Clark Street and the 3 right there, the last house that was built here was in 2010. And that's where, our zoning board chairman lives. That was the last house that was built in that area. So, we're lucky to have a few homes built. I got excited, 64, I was thinking I seen dollar signs, but, anyway, that's rumors. I wouldn't worry about
We'll be
it.
getting all that big tax money done.
Yeah, so anyway, what else I have here for tonight's agenda is to remind everybody at our June 16th meeting at 6 PM, there'll be a public hearing to discuss our appropriation ordinance. And then we will do our second reading that night. So if you have any questions, that would be the time to ask them, that 6 PM meeting. Also, one thing here, we got a thank you from, when this building was used for the Louis Maldonado benefit. They raised $20,000 that night. They sent a thank you card. This young man is battling cancer. So they sent a thank you to the village for the building and the money they raised. And that is all I have for this evening. Do we have a need to enter an executive session?
No.
No.
If we don't, we have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, good.